Hey, what's going on, friends? My podcast every day is broken up into two parts on the free platform. The first part, Act 1, is right now. When it's all done, go right on over to Act 2 to get the second half of the podcast. Thank you so much for checking out my show. Hello, friends. Welcome to you. Thank you for joining me on the Eric Zane Show podcast. This is a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. And boy, do I have a lot of them today. Oh, boy. Moments ago, it was another knife incident here in the house. And I have said, but if I say it, it's not going to be listened to. It doesn't matter. If I am talking to the NFK, my beloved brother-in-law, and if there's anything I've learned long ago, that if there's anything that a behavior or something that's going on that I don't care for that he is engaging in, whether it be wiping feces on cabinetry or just overall grossness, it's going to fall on deaf ears. Oh, yeah, sure. Like the fact that I had to have a discussion with him about wiping his asshole. True story. I think actually that one finally has gotten through. But one of the things is I said you cannot handle knives. You're not supposed to touch knives. You can touch scissors, don't touch knives. He still touches knives. I can't tell him anything. He's not going to. I could yell at him till I'm blue in the face, and it's just not going to happen. So every so often he cuts himself. And every time he cuts himself, I give him the basics on first aid. Whatever you do, don't stick your fingers in your mouth. But he still sticks his fingers in his mouth. He sees the blood on the finger, and then in the mouth it goes. Now, most people know it takes some type of direct pressure to make the cut stop bleeding. But if you're constantly consuming the blood and swallowing it, you're not allowing that cut to, form a blood clot and stop the bleeding. So I've said to him, hey, if you ever do this, because I know he's not going to stop handling knives, get some paper towel, put it around the injury, and hold it with your Mr. Crab hand, and then come see me. He did none of those things. Now, like the last time this happened, he came to the door, and the finger was in the mouth while he's talking to me. And there's blood running down his arm. There's blood, a trail of it in different parts of the house. He's bleeding all over shit. Not as big of a deal this time. There was only blood smeared on various countertops and utensils and knives where he was searching frantically for a Band-Aid. Now, even if he did find a Band-Aid, he doesn't have the dexterity to open the package. How they zip open and you reveal the sticky part and put it on. That's the equivalent of you or I trying to do that with like oven mitts on. I happen to come downstairs and I can tell something's amiss. It's just the way he was moving. He's moving frantically. He's opening and shutting cabinets in place. He's looking for Band-Aids, but I don't know this, but I know something's going on. And he's wandering off into different parts of the house, opening and shutting cabinets loudly. And I can hear him muttering. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Something's going on. Not sure what, but something's going on. And finally goes, hey, you got a damn Band-Aid? I can't find a Band-Aid. I cut my fucking finger. I go, now, what I want to do is I want to like chastise him. You were handling knives again, or whatever. But I'm like, that goes against what I've preached to you is my mentality here. And that is bandage him up or clean up the mess and move on with your day. I cannot be getting angry. So I did not. And he realizes he can't find a Band-Aid. He's like, hey, cut my damn finger. And then I notice that there's little blood splotches on all the cabinets he's touching. He's bleeding on them. I'm like, oh, God, damn it. So I go, yeah, no problem. No problem. I go upstairs. I'm still doing the radio show. I had to talk for a brief amount of time. And so I end up getting the Band-Aid. We don't have anything that's appropriate. They're all like gigantic Band-Aids for like a bullet wound. It's like, all right, buddy, I got it. And I had to cut it with a pair of scissors to size. And I said to him before I went up there, I go, all right, I'm going to put this paper towel on there and just hang on to it now. I just let's get the bleeding to stop. Hey, Justin. Good to see you here, buddy. And so now he knows all this, but it never happens. He just eats the blood. He just puts his fingers in his fucking mouth, and it's so like, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? He's really, really frustrated, but I just kept my mouth shut. We have a newbie in here, so let's give this person the once over as to what's going on. It looks like Pickle Tanyu. Not sure what that is, but anyway, that's what the person is going by. He's new here, doesn't have any idea as to what's going on. It's just me telling stupid stories and rambling on and on about things that are annoying and dumb in the world, news, nonsense, and my personal adventures. And I'm glad you're here because I'm going to tell you right now about something that happened to me last night. And it's an outrageous story, but one that needs to be told. You can see behind me that pooch, Darla. And next to Darla is Bruce. Bob says the stories generally involve poo-poo. Yes, and I'm glad you said that because this is that right now. That's what I'm going to talk about. Now, there's another dog that you cannot see here right now. He's embarrassed. He's on the ground. His name is O'Neill. So it's me, 3 dogs, and you. And these members of the chat who I all know pretty well from here. So make yourself comfortable and listen in. Perhaps you have a story that's relatable that this has happened to you at one point in time. Now, we occasionally have incidents where dogs have accidents in the middle of the night. And we have a protocol here that the dogs go to bed. When we go to bed, the dogs go outside. And I was assured by my princess wife, Diana Pooh Bear, that was taken care of. But after this incident, she right away said, oh, boy, I better let him out a little later. So I'm like, you went to bed pretty early. What time did you let him out? Like 5 p.m.? And then typically we let him out at 8. But that's where I think the trouble happens here. Now, in my room, there's 3 dogs on the bed. Those 2 you see and another one who's down here, and he's a bigger dog, bigger than those 2. And I'm pretty confident that he hadn't gone number 2 in a couple of days. And I know this because a couple of days ago, when I was making a salad, he loves vegetables. And I gave him a couple of small pieces of tomato. Now, what I cleaned up in the middle of the night last night did contain those tomatoes. So we are sitting on at least 48 hours of catastrophe that has made its way from when I gave it to him to this moment in time where I'm sound asleep. And he, I guess, has gotten up, and there's nowhere to go in the room except for the bathroom. Now, this happened not that long ago, probably in the last month. And this is the same thing. He went number 2. We have a walk-in shower. He walks into the shower and does it. And which it's pretty contained. I mean, I guess worse would be on any type of carpeting, but this is obviously a shower. Now, this is when I entered into the story. It's about 4:30 in the morning, and what is going on in my environment is invading my dreams. And I couldn't tell you exactly what I was dreaming about, but I know that in the dream, I was actually like perplexed. And I don't remember the surroundings, but I specifically remembering in the dream going like, hey, what the fuck is that? That smells like more than a fart. That smells like it's something not in the air, but actually like a mass is somewhere. And so my subconscious brain then fires the message to me and tells me to wake up. So I'm like, all right, thanks. And I'm waking up and right away, what I'm realizing is the smell has woken me up. Have you ever had that happen? Some people can sleep through that. But I have an extremely sensitive nose. One, it makes good sense. It makes sense because of the size of my schnoz. But it's true. I can really smell things a long ways away. And it's like Wolverine, you know? So I'm waking up and I'm like, oh boy, this is a big one. This is not good. So I turn on my phone light and I look on the carpet, nothing. He's sound asleep. There's only one place to go. It's the bathroom. Sure enough, I opened up the bathroom door and yeah, I mean, and it was all makes and models of number 2. From pancake style to lumpy to everything in between. And tomatoes, the whole thing. It was unbelievable. And so I turn on the fan in there and I shut the door. And I'm like, all right, I'll clean this in the morning. But that's not going to happen. And I go back in the room and then I realize that it's filled the room. There is no way I'm going to be able to get back to sleep. So I wake up Pooh Bear, or she wakes up. She goes, what the hell's going on? I go, we have an issue. And she takes the dogs out. And then that's when she says, oh, must have let them out too early. And I'm like, wait a minute. So it was in the back of your brain? I mean, I went to bed after you. You weren't feeling well. You could have tipped me off. I could very easily have let them out. So now here I am, 4 a.m, and this whole thing has to be done, you know. And you're right. The shower is a little bit of an easier cleanup job because I pick up what I can, and the rest is it goes down the drain. Hot water. Now I have to disinfect the shower before it's used because, I mean, it hasn't been disinfected. Come on now. But I get the fans going. I open up the bedroom window, put the fan in the window, pumping in the fresh air, and it's fucking freezing. But, you know, at that point, it takes 15 minutes to do this job. There is zero sleepiness in my soul at this point for what I've had to experience and clean up. And I'm like, you know, I might as well just stay awake, you know? But I decided, no, I'm going to try to go back to bed. So about 1 minute before my alarm went off, an hour later, I fell asleep. I woke up. I felt horrible. Here we are. Chris says, Jesus, I need to start sending you some asbestos masks and Tyvek suits from here at work. I got it down. I've got like gloves, you know. I am an excellent cleaner when it comes to these catastrophes, and I never panic. I always just kind of like assess, you know, and I've got all the necessary carpet cleaning equipment. This is just how it is. This is the price you pay to have animals. And I love it. I love it so much. My God. So, pickle to new. How do I say this? That's got to be worth a follow. It's a foul follow. Chris says Easy owns a rug doctor. I actually do. Like the kind that you rent from the store with the big square one with the tank on it. Absolutely. Tyler is here. He says Easy's House of Poo. So true. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, we have confirmation now as to what is happening this week. It is a Big Fraud Wednesday where we will do... Now, I didn't think we were going to be able to do this, frankly, because the schedules between Ben and myself... I knew for sure that mine was jacked, and I'm like, how the hell are we going to do this? The only way we can do a show is if it's on a Wednesday and it's early in the day. And lo and behold, Ben Glaze reached out to me, and he said, is there any way we can do the show on Wednesday? I go, all right, halfway there. And I go, well, yes, but what's the earliest you can start on Wednesday for Big Fraud Wednesday on Patreon? He said 3:30. I go, brother, you're saving my life. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get these shows in. So tomorrow at 3:30 in the afternoon on Patreon, we are going to do Who Are These Free Beers, followed by the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast. It has never happened this early, but that's the life that we are living this week. We're both very, very busy, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very excited. And part of Big Fraud Wednesday will be Who Are These Free Beers, show number 42. And I've got a lot of ground to cover. Free Beer gets pissed off at Hot Wings yet again. And I don't know what's going on there. It's very uncomfortable, though, when he does that. This one, there was a little bit of laughiness to it, but you could still tell that he was annoyed as fuck. And he thought that our pal Hot Wings interrupted him, but not the case. Free Beer finished a thought, paused, the sentence was done. Hot Wings started to speak. After Hot Wings started to speak, Free Beer starts to speak. It's a little clumsy. And then Greg gets annoyed, throwing Hot Wings under the bus. Like, yeah, you interrupted me. It wasn't quite that blatant, but it was bad. And Hot Wings didn't do anything. It should also be pointed out that Free Beer is the king of interrupting. New guy in the chat, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, here's the story. I used to be on the radio, all right? And then that was until I wasn't 6 years ago. The radio show that I left, I roast that show. I listen to their old segments. And my pal Ben Glaze and myself review their episodes, and then we roast them and make fun of them. And on this 6-person show, there is a young lady by the name of Maitland, who some time ago I started the, I see Pickle says I used to listen. Outstanding. Perfect. Then you know. There is a young lady on there by the name of Maitland, who is one of the nicest people on the planet, it seems. Very sweet, congenial, also very attractive. Not really suited to be on the radio at all in any capacity. About the only thing that makes her entertaining is that she is willing to blurt out things that are really, really dumb, not knowing how dumb they are. So it's because of just not being aware. And that happened again. And in fact, I know this sounds rough, okay? But I've established a montage or a supercut in a title called Maitland is Stupid. All right? And there's now 4 clips in there of Maitland being stupid. Couple clips that I'm still on the lookout for there were some moments on the show that happened that I don't have, but one in which she actually was wondering if, like, it's a cloudy day during the day and then the sun goes down. She was shocked to learn that when the sun goes down, it's still in fact cloudy. She was under the impression, like legitimately, that when the sun goes down, clouds go away. She also asked a question if whether or not pool water in like a backyard pool is flammable because there's chemicals in the pool to keep the pool sanitized. Not even kidding. You might be thinking, oh, this is a bit. She's just acting dumb. I don't think so. In this clip here, and I'll feature my supercut of Maitland being dumb on the Wednesday edition of Who Are These Freebeers, show number 42 on Patreon. You can sign up for 7 days free. If you do this right now, you get 7 days free. While I'm talking, go to patreon.com/Eric Zane. You get a 7-day free trial. You have to put in a payment form, but cancel it right after and you still get 7 days. So you'll be able to be part of this episode, show number 42, featuring Maitland saying one of the dumber things I've ever heard a person say, ever. Make sure when you sign up for the freebie, you sign up for Tier 2 so you can watch it live as it happens Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern Time. Freebeer is telling a story. Now, this is in front of a live audience in Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, here we go. How about this story? Football fans in Philadelphia are buying snow from their football game that they won. I guess the Eagles won their first-round playoff game. This is a couple weeks ago. And people at the stadium were taking the snow that was in the stands, putting it into like a plastic container, keeping it cold, and people were buying the snow for $50 a canister. I know. You would never do it. I would never do it. But they are doing that. So Greg's telling this, and everyone's like, oh, my God, what a bunch of dumbasses. About the snow. And Maitland has a suggestion for what they can do with the snow. And I don't think she knows how these things work.
Did you guys hear what Steve's Philadelphia Eagles are doing? They are selling authenticated containers of snow and ice from their game they won against the Rams last week for $50 a pint.
Oh, my God.
That's one of the worst collectibles of all time.
Yeah, but sports fans are stupid. Like, they are.
I do.
Especially the ones that would buy something like that.
Turn it into a snow globe. Make a cool craft out of it.
Melt.
Turn it into a snow globe. Make a cool craft out of it. Pause. It would melt.
Something like that.
Turn it into a snow globe. Make a cool craft out of it.
Melt.
Oh, my God. Now, if you were to play that a little bit longer, I cannot believe that. She realizes how stupid it is. And she goes, oh, no, I meant you take the snow and melt it and put it inside of a snow globe, and that's the liquid for the snow globe. That's what I meant. What the fuck? Tofa says it's that silence. Pickle, I'll tell you how to access it again in a second. But I just got to listen to this again. The whole thing.
Did you guys hear what Steve's Philadelphia Eagles are doing? They are selling authenticated containers of snow and ice from their game they won against the Rams last week for $50 a pint.
Oh, my God.
That's one of the worst collectibles of all time.
Yeah, but sports fans are stupid. Like, they are.
I do.
Especially the ones that would buy something like that.
Turn it into a snow globe.
Ones that would
cool
buy
craft out
something
of
like
it.
that.
Turn it into a snow globe.
Sorry, that was all fucked up. Hang on. It did a wormhole.
That.
Turn it into a snow globe. Make a cool
It would
craft out of it.
melt.
God damn. Patreon. I'm gonna put this in on the chat so you have it. I should probably make a habit of that every time. You go to patreon.com/Eric Zane, and it's all self-explanatory there. Sign up for 7 days free, and put in a payment form like a credit card, and then as soon as you're done, if you're like, okay, I don't want to, maybe I won't like this. And some people are like, I know that I'm going to like it, so I'm not going to cancel it. But if you're not sure, go ahead and cancel it, and you get the 7 days. Now, typically, there are two choices. $5 a month is tier 1. That is all of the audio. $10 a month is audio, video, and live streams. Okay? And so $5 a month is month to month. $10 a month is month to month, tier 2. Either way, you get it free for those 7 days. And if after the 7 days you're like, hey, I want to keep it going, just go back into your profile, enable your card, and then I will charge you. Now, if you want a full year and you pay for it in advance, I will take 10% off of the cost. So what was $60 a year for tier 1 is $54. What is $120 a year for tier 2 is $108. Make a snow globe. Make a cool craft out of it. Amy is suggesting to new audience member Pickle, you should do the video option. You never know when an errant boob makes an appearance. This is true. All right. So, on the Big Fraud Wednesday, I will be featuring now, I have 4 cuts on Maitland's Being Dumb Supercut. And it's just outrageous. Before we continue, this studio is, of course, taken care of by my friends at Impact Power Sports. In fact, it's known as the Impact Power Sports Studio for the Eric Zane Show podcast. Online at impactpowersportsmi.com. You can head there. Check out all they have to offer when it comes to ATVs, UTVs, golf carts. They're located on 14 Mile Road in beautiful Rockford, Michigan. Go check them out if you're interested in something like that. Maybe a motorcycle, snowmobile, scooter. I know Nick in the arena, the electrician, is all over their stuff. They've got a full service department, too, in case anything breaks down that you already have or you want to upgrade something, whatever it may be. ImpactPowerSportsMI.com. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube and Facebook, I'm happy I got the YouTube up and running again. You got to go to twitch.tv if you want the full show. I got to kick you out, unfortunately, but that's how we do it. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app and then search at Eric Zane Live, all one word. Thank you so much for being part of the show. Facebook and Twitch brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid and EV. Buy now, refinance later with the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. No matter where you are in the U.S., call them when you're ready to get started on your mortgage. 231-332-6700. 6505. That's 231-332-6505. NMLS number 3035. Special care and attention to first-time home buyers who, you're putting your life on the line with this thing. You're nervous as hell. You're having anxiety attacks. Mario answers all of your questions. There are no dumb questions. Call upon Mario when you're ready to take that plunge into getting a mortgage to buy your home. 231-332-6505. I have four amazing audience members who are working on losing a ton of weight. I had this written down somewhere. We had a weigh-in yesterday for Fatathon 2025. That would be Jeremy, Amanda, Rebecca, and Nikki. All four lost a fantastic amount of weight in the past week. Every Monday is a weigh-in on this show. Now, what am I doing? Nothing. All I'm doing is talking about these people. You'd be amazed at how effective that is. When you are on your own trying to lose weight, it's okay to let yourself down or get in shape or whatever, or save your own life for some of you. But when you know that there's your friends and your family and the people in this chat and the audience members that are rooting for you, the last thing you want to do is let anybody down. And believe it or not, that turns out to be a fairly effective way to create accountability. The crown prince for all of this is Jeremy, who in 19 weeks now has lost, what did I say? I can't even read my writing. Hang on, it's too small and I need my glasses on. He has lost 61 pounds in 19 weeks. So as these four make their way to their goal, eventually we'll be adding more people on here. Jeremy, the week before, had a bad week and he went up a few pounds. And I was talking to the Queen of the Forest about that because I was bragging to her about you. And when I informed her on this show that you had gained weight, Jeremy says when he knew that she knew, he was upset. He was more upset about letting her down. Yeah, you're starting to get into a rare zone here. So keep it going. And that goes for all of you. The amount of weight lost for the four of you this past week, forget what it was, 2.8 plus 3.6 plus 3.8 plus 3.0 was 13.2 pounds. Kenny quit. He gave up on losing weight. We talked to him yesterday about this. It was a horribly awkward conversation about he had been gone for several weeks, and we finally got him back. And then he informed us that he did what's known as a Daryl fast. In the Bible, there is a book, the book of Daryl. And they named a weight loss plan after Daryl in the Bible. And Daryl said, you have to get rid of things and fast away from things that are affecting your spiritual life or some shit like that. And so he gave up meat and me. So, all right, that's weird. But then he came back. Actually, he became a vegan and he gave up me. And so then he comes back. Now he's no longer a vegan. And he's back listening to the show, but telling me that I was in the way. I don't know what the fuck it was. And I'm like, all right, well, anyway, how about the Fatathon, you know? And he said that he was struggling. So I guess that means quit, because he is no longer involved in Fatathon. And that's really a problem, in my opinion. I didn't have the heart to tell him yesterday, but he is not really safe being as heavy as he is. I believe he's just north, or at least he was just north of 300 pounds. He had lost like 40 pounds, and I don't know what the fuck he's doing now. I wished he hadn't quit, you know? I wished he just continued to plug in here. And, you know. But for whatever reason, he quit. And I couldn't really get a straight answer as to why. This is hard. This is not easy to do. And I've said this before. Nothing worth doing is. We had that come to Jesus discussion with Amanda and her giant tits last week. When after 1 week, she was already spinning her wheels like an asshole and making up fat excuses. I was like, what the fuck? So I beat the hell out of her for 1 full week, and then she came back strong and lost. It might have been more than 3 pounds. I'm not sure, but that was outstanding. And now here you go. Now you're back. None of this quit shit. I'm not buying it. Anyway, that is your daily pep talk. I just wanted you four to stay focused on this shit because I want more great news next week. And if you fuck it up, don't send me your list of excuses and nonsense. Just tell me you suck and then try to do better. Well, I had something bad happen to me. I got in a fender bender, so I ate an entire cake. You know how crazy that sounds? Jeremy wrote, Kenny is a huge reason why I've been successful. Having competition has kept me focused. Yeah, dude. There is not a good reason as to why he quit. And no matter what he tells me, I refuse to accept you can't just say, well, I was successful at first, but then it started to get hard, so I quit. I'm just going to sit here and just, maybe become a vegan for a little bit and get out of my way. You're blocking my spirituality, as the book of Daryl told me so. So fuck you. It's fucking bullshit. Linda writes, the Twin Flames cult is based here in Michigan. Why does that sound familiar? What is that? Can you remind me? Badger says, was he born in the snowflake generation? Thought he was older than that. He is, I think he might still be millennial. He's in his 40s, and I think that is millennial age range. So if that is the case, that explains a lot for being such a huge pussy about Fatathon. If not, he would just be very, very barely into the greatest generation, mine. But I don't think he is. I think he's a millennial. All right. Anyway, Kenny, I figured I'd give you a day off yesterday from beating the shit out of you with your stupidity. But I'm back today. This is bullshit that you quit the goddamn Fatathon. I'm just telling you that. And I'm not even kidding. You need to get back in there. You need to get back in Fatathon. All right? I refuse to accept what you said yesterday. You cannot leave Fatathon. You cannot just say things are hard, I quit. You need to get back on the horse. All right? That's what you need to do. And I see right now he is in the room with us. And that's a good thing. Because I've been doing some thinking about you, and I don't think you have a lot of wiggle room when it comes to quitting Fatathon. I don't think that that's a great idea. I mean, true, you've struggled, but who hasn't? You know, I don't think you've got a lot of room to kind of fuck around with this. This is a pretty serious issue. You're not getting any younger. And just don't forget, there are no old fat fucks. They don't live long. And I'm pretty sure when you wanted to get started on this, which, by the way, you did all on your own, I had nothing to do with that. I didn't even know you were losing weight. I'm pretty sure you were inspired to do so because, you know, you got a little girl and she loves her daddy, even though he's a jackass. So I don't know, buddy. I don't think this is too clear of a thing here. And I know you've been you just wrote the words, not recently. So you haven't had success recently. Well, you're doing it wrong. You need to focus on what you did successfully and then just keep doing it and only worry about today. I refuse to accept that. He says no to you saying she loves her dad. Yeah, well, anyway, Kenny, I think pretty much, buddy, that you gotta get your head together here. And I think you know that. So, you know, that's just my takeaway here, buddy. And I'm so sorry I got in the way of you and Jesus. I didn't. I'm just getting out of the way of you and Jesus. I gotta leave because you're getting in the way of my spirituality. Fuck you. Yoda World says, if Jesus has to carry you, he would appreciate a lighter load. Just saying. Look, and another thing. All this nonsense about I am the devil, which is, Kenny said on this show, he said, EZ is the devil, so I have to abandon him. There's no way the devil would try to save your life like I am right now. So I don't want to hear any more talk about me getting in the way of you reading the book of Daryl and then getting on board with this hogwash Daryl diet or whatever the fuck it was. What an absolute abortion. All right? No more. Chris says the book of Daryl Hall. Daryl from Run DMC. Isn't that right, though? It's called the book of Daryl. Tyler says easy is basically the opposite of the devil. Well, I know that. And I don't understand why Kenny would do that. Line me up into a fist fight with baby Jesus. So basically, for 21 days, he had to go ahead and not eat any meat and become a vegan and become a hippie and listen to the Grateful Dead and put up my face with like a fucking slash through it and throw holy water on me to see if it would sizzle. And then he comes back and says, easy, I love you. All right. Mama always said easy is the devil, says Bob. Yeah, I think I'm a pretty good guy. I think I'm a sweet dude. I think I'm caring enough. that if somebody were like going on the podcast app and there was an Ask Jesus show, and you could ask Jesus questions. Jesus, what podcast besides yours should I listen to? Jesus would say EZ's. He's a good soul. He's hilarious. He tells great stories. He's honest with people. He's very helpful. He gave away a fucking kidney. How many of you can say that? None. It's just me. I'm the only one. All right. And by the way, I'm shocked how late you are today. We spent a pretty fair amount of time talking about you and how I'm getting in the way of Jesus. It was really disappointing when I found that information out. I sat on it all day. I was like, wait a minute. How can this be? I'm like the most pious person on the planet. All right? I am not tied down to any organized religion, and I don't think I will be at any point in the future. But my God, I talk to God all the time. I had a conversation with him when I was at the hockey game for the high school over the weekend. So this is the scenario. Over the years, since I quit the Catholic faith, I'm still a Catholic. I just don't practice. I mean, well, I guess some people say that like I was baptized Catholic. And I went to Catholic church for the longest time. And then I finally I don't think this is working. There's something wrong with this. And then Madison comes out as gay. And then I was like, okay, now I get it. God was leading me away, okay, from that nonsense. Because God is like, yeah, I don't know if Catholicism is in my best interest. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, the wealth involved with that church, the money involved is remarkable. And we all know what money does to people. It corrupts them. And then, you add a side helping of child rape to that. And then the ridiculous discrimination by that church towards our gay sisters and brothers. And that is not about me, Easy. You know that. And I'm like, oh, my God. I said, oh, my, you. You're right. So I was out. Now, I've had this interaction with many people, though, from the church that I used to go to. When I see them, they always say with a weird tone of voice, haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? And I'm like, So now I don't want to say to them what I just said to you, because that would be awkward, almost as awkward as looking someone in the face and telling them that they're getting in the way of your spirituality. That type of awkward. But anyway, I digress. So I'm looking at this sweet elderly couple, and that's the conversation that happens. Where you been? We haven't seen you in a while. And I'm like, So I just go, yeah, been busy. Now, what I'm hoping is they won't say, for 6 years? I don't think it's been that long, but it's been at least since it was before COVID. So probably like 2019. So yeah, I guess that would be about 6 years. Easy, do the math. But I don't have the heart to tell them. I just keep it to myself. So I'm not really that fond of organized religion. I just feel like it's kind of a racket, steeped in a lot of bad vibes and bad man-made rules, frankly. So then all right, I'm going to skip the middleman, and I am going to go ahead and just talk to God directly. So I have these conversations all the time, but he doesn't really talk back because he's kind of like, easy. You don't need anything from me. You're doing a fantastic job. All right. I want you to continue to do what you're doing. All right. And that is, don't take any shit from anybody. March to the beat of your own drummer. We'll sort it out when you get up here. Okay, fine, great. So I don't preach to anybody. I stay out of people's fucking way. And I just do my own thing. Again, I get the impression that baby Jesus and God are hanging out. They're like, oh my God, look at these idiots. They're fucking this shit up. This is not what we meant. All right, there you go. That is your easy deep dive on religion. Maureen says, easy, stay humble. God, probably. You know, there are a lot of people in the Bible, so I'm told, that are kind of like cantankerous and jackasses. That's me. When one day someone is given the power to write another book of the Bible, which I read somewhere that that's not a thing anymore. Only the people, however many years ago when they wrote the Bible, they were speaking the word of God. But after that ended, no one else is allowed to. No one else can write the word of God. Now, let me just say, if there is like open enrollment one day on books of Bible to be written, and that power is going to be coming back down, and God's going to speak through people, and they're going to write like prophets. If there is another open enrollment, I want in. I want in on that action. Okay? I will submit my work on Book of the Bible open enrollment. If that ever happens, I think I could write a good one. All right. Jeremy says, Daryl is one of the cantankerous ones in the Bible, making his followers become vegan and also give up podcast for 21-ish days. Badger says, it will be Elon Musk, not you, Easy. You know, you might be onto something, which, by the way, I have to give you an amendment on Elon Musk. Because while I said this was not a Hitler salute, we didn't get into whether or not he's a Nazi or not. He probably is a Nazi, but that is not a Hitler salute. This is Sieg Heil. Entirely different. Linda says Joseph Smith wrote a Broadway show called The Book of Mormon. Piano Fingerbanger adds, we have modern Bibles. They're written by Marvel and DC. Corey says the Bible has been rewritten about 100 times and the stories are basically just a 2,000-year-old game of telephone. Chris says, how are you going to argue this, LOL? He is a Nazi, but that isn't the sign? Look, use your eyes, fuckface. God. All right, that is Act 1 of the podcast. Act 2 is available right after this one. Go check it out. What are you doing? Don't miss a second of it. Thank you so much.